Hello and welcome to the Southeast Iowa Union News Break. I'm your host, Nick Steffens. Getting into today's top stories, the latest crop progress and crop condition reports from the U.S. Department of Agriculture paint the picture of a quick-moving harvest season. Harvest progressed quickly, with farmers taking advantage of 6.5 days suitable for fieldwork during the week ending October 9th, 2022. Fieldwork included harvesting row crops, drilling cover crops, tillage, and applying fall fertilizer and manure, the crop progress report released October 11th said. Much of the state, however, suffered some weather damage during the week. A late-week-strong cold front ushered in Canadian air, leading to widespread frost and the first killing freeze for much of Iowa. State climatologist Justin Gleason wrote in the week's preliminary weather summary. A shift to a southwesterly wind helped to keep overnight lows into Sunday at or above freezing for most Iowa stations, with patchy cloud cover and frost in western Iowa. According to the report, 92% of corn was in the mature stage or beyond, 2 days behind last year, but 5 days ahead of the 5-year average. For soybeans, 93% were dropping leaves, 5 days behind last year, but 2 days ahead of the 5-year average. Farmers passed the halfway mark on soybeans last week, reaching 55% of total soy crop harvested in the state, according to the report. Corn's harvest progress was not mentioned in the document. The USDA's crop production forecast released October 12th said corn yield predictions had not changed since last month, expected to average 200 bushels per acre. Soybeans are projected to yield 58 bushels per acre, down 1 bushel from last month's forecast. Those forecasts are based on conditions as of October 1st. That was the top story. It is now time for obituaries. Alice May Anna Davison of Donaldson passed away on October 11th at the age of 86. Schmidt's Funeral Home is assisting with the arrangements. John Zeke Joseph Shantz Jr. of Wapello passed away on Tuesday, October 11th at the age of 56. Celebration of life will be held at 7 p.m. today, October 14th, at the Snyder and Hollenbaugh Funeral and Cremation Services. Ruth Ann Dawson of Washington passed away on October 9th at the age of 57. Celebration of life will be held at 11 a.m. October 19th at the Washington United Methodist Church. The Beatty Funeral Home is assisting with the arrangements. We're going to take a brief break, and when we come back, we'll have the weather and sports.
Federation Bank is a locally owned bank providing award-winning customer service. We believe that we are more than just a federation of banks, but a federation of communities, serving Brighton, Richland, Wellman, and Washington, Iowa. Federation Bank's highly skilled staff is here to make sure you are able to accomplish your personal and professional goals, whatever they may be. Federation Bank, your family bank.
Since 1905, Kelowna Cooperative Technology Company has helped our community stay connected with the latest advancements in clear, dependable telecommunications services. KCTC provides rural Iowans with access to high-speed fiber internet, as well as phone, television, computer repair, and cybersecurity solutions. We're also proud supporters of local organizations and area schools within the community. KCTC, keeping Kelowna connected.
Hello and welcome back to the Southeast Iowa Union News Break. I'm your host, Nick Steffens. We have some football previews coming up for tonight, but first, the weather.
The weather is brought to you by Jacqueline Areola, LLC.
Come visit Jackie in her new location downtown. She is ready to serve Washington and the surrounding community.
We start today with a very chilly morning. The rest of the day, it has been partly cloudy with a high of 64. Looking at the weekend, it'll be partly cloudy again on Saturday with a high of 60. Sunday, there'll be more sun, very fitting, with a high of 59. We will start the work week with some very low temperatures. Monday, it'll be mostly sunny with a high of only 48. On Tuesday, it'll be sunny with a high of 49. That was the weather. It is now time for sports.
Sports, brought to you by Fairway.
The 2022 high school football playoffs are coming up fast, and while some teams know their fate already, Washington and Fairfield are squarely on the bubble, and that makes Friday's game at Case Field one of the biggest of the season in the Union coverage area. Fairfield comes into the game with a 4-3 overall record. The Trojans are 2-1 in district play, and if they can win out, Fairfield will clinch a playoff spot. Washington is 3-4 overall and 1-2 in districts, but could still get into the postseason with 2 wins and a little help. If there is one team Fairfield has struggled with over the last decade, it is the Demons. The last time Fairfield beat Washington in football was 2009, so I was only 10 years old. The two teams didn't play in 2010 or 11, and Washington has won 10 in a row since. The two teams played in a classic last season. Washington held on to beat Fairfield 17-14. Ethan Patterson did it all for the Demons the last time these two teams met. The Demon quarterback rushed for 106 yards, threw for 56 and a touchdown, and caught one pass for 54 yards. The Demon defense did a great job of slowing down Fairfield's passing game last season. So far this year, the Demons have relied heavily on the running game. Running back Taven Stewart has rushed for 497 yards and 8 touchdowns, and Patterson has scampered for 64 yards and 1 score himself. Jude Brown leads the receivers with 166 yards and 1 touchdown. If Fairfield knocks off Washington for the first time in 13 years, the Trojans will very likely be 1 win away from the playoff spot. Barring a monster upset of Solon this weekend, Grinnell should come into Fairfield with 1 district loss next week, meaning the winner of that game would finish second in the district. Washington, on the other hand, hopes for a 3-way tie for second if they beat Fairfield and Grinnell loses but both its last 2 games. Washington will end the season with Burlington Notre Dame, who is, I believe, last. And both the Demons and Trojans could rely on the RPI ratings if neither of those things happen. That is unlikely too, due to them ranking around the 20th spot. Mount Pleasant is out of the playoff race, but that doesn't mean their season is over. It hasn't been a season that Mount Pleasant would have liked thus far, as the Panthers are still searching for their first win with just 2 weeks to go. The Panthers, who are 0-7 on the year, will get a good opportunity this week when they make the trek up to Clinton to battle the River Kings, who are 1-6 on the year, in a Class 4A District 3 matchup. Mount Pleasant is coming into Friday's contest off a loss to Burlington, 41-33. Last week's game against the Greyhounds went down to the wire and saw the Panthers with a chance to win it in the end, but they came up just short. Mount Pleasant's Jacob Rickman leads the Panthers through the air. Rickman has completed 138 passes for 1,416 yards and 12 touchdowns on the season. Zarek Vanghaus is the Panthers' leading rusher, tallying 246 yards and 3 touchdowns on just 62 carries. Peyton Higgins follows with a pair of touchdowns and 163 yards on 43 carries. Receiving-wise, Wyatt Woodsmall paces the Panthers. Woodsmall has caught 36 passes for 416 yards and 4 touchdowns. Carter Amos follows with 39 receptions for 376 yards and a pair of touchdowns. Garrett Cook has 22 catches for 202 yards and 2 touchdowns as well. Defensively, Bowen Davis has 43.5 tackles in the season. Peyton Walker follows with 30.5, and Jaden Bauer has 27.5 on the season as well. In last year's meeting between the two teams, Clinton got the better of Mount Pleasant 49-7. Friday's game is set to begin at 7:30 at Clinton's own Cone Field. That is the news for Southeast Iowa. I've been your host, Nick Steffens. This is the Southeast Iowa Union News Break, and I will see you next time.